So it is 6:30 in the United Kingdom, Ireland, and I don't know where else in the world. And it is 7:30 in Europe, 8:30 in Ukraine, and different times in different places in the world. And we've got our translators already. And we've got Mukunda already sending his loving Dandavat Pranam to all the devotees worldwide. What a beautiful way to start a Zoom. Jai Mukunda Prabhu. Mukunda Prabhu with a big heart. Okay, dear devotees, let us begin because the recording button is pressed. We're underway, and let us begin with our Vandanam, mini Vandana, as we often do. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Pada Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tang Sajivam Sarvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Param Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitangscha Om Jnana Timarandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshu Anmilitam Jaina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vanchakalpatrubhyascha Kripasindubhya evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mas Havadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Goratvijay Namaha. And the Panchatattva mantra, the names of Panchatattva given to us as our mantra by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, revealed by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shri Vas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. And the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra given from time immemorial as the Maha Mantra of Kali Yuga, and particularly given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with the potency within that seed of Krishna Prema. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And that mantra has been chanted in streets throughout India and now throughout the world with the accompanying kartals and mridanga. And the mridanga was given some name as the Brihat Mridanga. No, sorry, the mridanga is making the sound, calling people to hear Krishna's name around and about. But Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur described that the books are the Brihat Mridanga, big mridanga, that their call can call people from all over the world to chant the name of the Lord. So let us give our jais, our obeisances to Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj, our obeisances to Srila Bhakti Rock Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj, our obeisances to Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, our obeisances to Bhagavan Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and to our whole Sri Rupa Nuga Guru Vaga, and to Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur, to Sriman Mahaprabhu himself, to Sri Nityananda Prabhu, and all of their associates. It is Mahaprabhu's message, and that message taken by Mahaprabhu all over India, and that message now taken all over the world by the carriers of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's Vani, his guidance, his instruction. And just as Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur mainly preached through books, distributed the message, the pure, clean message of Mahaprabhu through books. Similarly, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, we see massively arranged the distribution of books throughout the world. And so I know several years ago, the BBT, the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust, which is that section of Srila Prabhupada's mission directly responsible or looking after the publications. Then a few years ago, they crossed the 500 million books distributed worldwide, which was very amazing to read. And this was in the time of Srila Gurudev, and Srila Gurudev was quite amazed to hear that too. And we read that time, we'll get back to Godhead, received, mailed to Chaitanya Saraswat Math. And Srila Prabhupada instructed his devotees to send a copy of Back to Godhead to Srila Guru Maharaj, to Srila Gurudev, to Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Math. And they did for some time, they didn't for some time. Some good friend within ISKCON did give some nudge to those who distributed it. They again did for some time, and then didn't for some time. So anyway, during parts of the time when they did send Back to Godhead to the temple, then Gurudev was always happy to receive Back to Godhead. And we would kind of look through and say, share some things which are within the book, the magazine. And one of them had that news that this year, the BBT, they got over the 500 million books, I think. I'm not sure if it included magazines, I'm not sure. But 500 million publications distributed worldwide since its inauguration. That's a lot of books. So anyhow, the Brihat Mridanga, the books, and we do have some quotations. If you want me to give any quotations, I don't know. Let us come to Kumkum Devi Dasi. She's always prepared with something. And she may read some quotation which I might read. I'll give her the first chance because I have more than one. You probably have more than one too. Because it's a subject matter where we know. We mentioned Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. We mentioned Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. But we must mention Srila Bhakti Rakha Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj and Srila Bhakti Sundar Dev Goswami Maharaj, because they are all giving the stress on the publications and giving the stress on the quality of the content and the way to receive the content of those publications, those books. So this is a very big foundation matter of our Krishna consciousness, that we can get the teachings of our masters distributed to others, and but also distributed to our own heart through the books, the Brihat Mridanga. So Kumkum Devi, I say over to you in Vilu Govinda Ashram.
Dandavat Maharaj, and to all of the devotees here. I don't have particular quotes because how could we not relish this subject nonstop for the longest time? And one of the best things about this was about this topic is knowing when we remember hearing that Srila Govinda Maharaj was actually the first distributor. So the emphasis on the books was so important. And this did not skip our notice. It was quite obvious how important were books to Srila Prabhupada from the beginning. And to know that there was someone who was helping him distribute those But he would have very, very little funds at many times in his life, including before he came to America. And he was always, with however small amount of money he had, he would always get something printed, distributed out. And this is our standard. There was a phrase that he came up with, which was repeated a lot. Books are the basis. Purity is the force. And maybe I'll remember the rest of that later. But the thing about books being the basis, and in a very large center where we live for a long time, Los Angeles, there would be those giant trucks with, I guess they have 16 wheels, the giant cargo distributing trucks. And it was a wonderful holy sight to watch when it was time to load them up from the warehouses where the books were. And those trucks, like 4 or 5 of them at a time, would be completely full with books and people taking inventory and carefully writing what had been published. And those trucks would then go all over the country, but also going to airports to go all over the world. But books were definitely the basis that Srila Prabhupada introduced to us. And also, I have the good fortune of having one set of the original Srimad Bhagavatams, which he translated in India with, grammatical errors, misspellings, complete, and the sweetest of all of that. So knowing how hard he was working just to make sure at least we had the books. And he always knew that his years were short or could be, but at least he wanted to get those books so that everybody would always have them. So that was done. And then even as he was translating, and very busy accepting all of the tens of thousands of new devotees who knew absolutely nothing, but he was delivering everyone and watching the centers being set up in such a short amount of time and all over the world. But he never stopped translating Srimad Bhagavatam and then Chaitanya Charitamrita and many other small books and everything to give, like Science of Self-Realization, just so that we would have something so substantial. And the Back to Godhead magazine itself was, people would go on distribution and ask for 1/4 for that, which is not very much money. Even back then, it was anybody would have at least that much probably. But it would just, pieces of it would be in frames. It was very common to see somebody just take every page and decorate their walls with that so they could always give obeisance. And others were trying to help him by writing articles, but it was quite obvious which articles that you wanted to really read, which he was adapting with every single issue, what was the most needed message now. And so where would we be without that printed page? And of course, now as it was later described as the Brihat Mridanga, and it could go all over the place. And now the digital Brihat Mridanga is astounding, but it's the same incredibly important distribution. And Srila Gurudev also really liked the part about it being in the ether, correct? How much glorification of Krishna and Harinam would be permeating the higher levels of our atmosphere. I myself am proof that the Back to Godhead magazine could come anywhere. The one that came to me, it was random, you could say, but actually, when it came to me, I didn't understand anything, and the cover of it was very foreign to me. It was a picture of Krishna and Akrura. Krishna and Balaram were being driven by Akrura, and they stopped briefly on the bank of the river and were worshiping Mahavishnu, who is in the foreground lying on Anantashesha. such an unusual picture for somebody coming from my situation, but none of that mattered. It was so transcendental. And somebody just happened, he had it in his pocket, well, from the northeastern part of the United States, way down to where I was in the southeastern, maybe 3 or 4,000 miles. This person had received it and carried it in his pocket. It never fell out or got lost. And I found Srila Prabhupada in there and was completely convinced just by his one poem. And that was definitely proof of the mercy of Lord Nityananda for so many people like me. But when I went to the person, I found out who had brought it there. And I went and asked him about it. He said, "Oh, I don't know. Somebody gave it to me." He asked me for a quarter, 25 cents. He said, and I didn't have any money. He said, "But you take it anyway. You don't know where this is going to go." So this is the proof of that. So we can never stop the distribution of the transcendental sound. It's inestimable. My dandavat to all of the Vaishnavas. I know many people think about this kind of distribution and this reliance, and some people still only want to see the printed form of the book because they're so beautiful. They're very close to our heart. Sometimes they're printed very small, but that makes it even easier for us to carry with us.
Jai Kongkong Devidasi. I'm sure some other things may come to mind while we're talking today. Do
Okay.
feel free to press the button and say hello and go and give a more contribution. You're mentioning loading up those 16-wheeler trucks, which I think are known as juggernauts after the famous Lord Jagannath. That's where the word juggernaut comes from in the Western world. Anyway, you saw those being loaded up, and I honestly was like very happy to have some service one day to help unload one of those juggernauts in England, in Croom Court near Worcester, in the north of England, way back in 1980 something. So the trucks are getting loaded up on one side of the world, and as you said, they're being distributed because that was the printing place. Los Angeles is where they were being printed or where they were being stored, and they were going all over the world. And they used to have, maybe still have, a Christmas marathon, and really, I felt even at the time, and I was extremely new, but I felt, oh, this is wonderful service to unload these books which are going out at the Christmas marathon. And there were, I'm told, I wasn't the one counting them, I was just doing the physical work. And that is, we're told that they had a shipment of 1 million Bhagavad Gitas. Now, I don't know if that was Vaishnava counting or not, but it was a truckload, and I think that was only one truckload which had arrived. And so that was a long, long time ago. And that was Bhagavad Gita. And you say you are evidence of the books. I also am evidence of the books because I got my book and I never ever found out who gave that book, how it got there. But I got it in Kenya, in East Africa, just in one of those free places that we see in Italy. You put books in and take books out like that. And that book changed my life, you can say. It let me clearly understand somebody, or there are those who know the purpose of life, not speculation, not imagination, not name, fame, and money, but purely wanting to share the true message, the truth and true messages being handed down from time immemorial, from Krishna speaking to Arjuna. And this name that I had no idea about, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and introducing us. We somehow heard the name of Krishna, but not Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But Srila Prabhupada is mentioning all these names and so many other names. But within that book, which was The Science of Self-Realization, a book you named specifically just now, that book made all the difference for me, and it made all the difference for many. So many people came through this publication. And the last couple of days we've been reading, I'm in Ireland now, and we've been reading from The Search for Sri Krishna, Reality the Beautiful. Dear devotees, please do not ignore this book, saying, oh, it's an old book, I read it when it's printed. Okay, very good. We've read it many times, and if we just can read the introduction to that book, and so many, you know, this is more or less my recommendation for new people, for everybody, including ourselves. The introduction to the Search for Sri Krishna by Guru Maharaj,
yes,
is wonderful. Chapter 1 is wonderful. Chapter 2 is wonderful. Every chapter is wonderful. And we've been reading this, and with some completely new people also. And it just makes absolute sense. So, I mean, absolute sense, so clear, and in a way which is all attracting and scientific, as Srila Guru Maharaj says right there. We are not short of giving some explanation and some answers. Whereas the material scientists, they are short. They're not even addressing this point about eternity and joy. And Guru Maharaj says, come, face the challenge. We are not in that section that says, oh, it can't be answered and leave it. No, face that challenge. And if you can't, leave the field to us. We will prove that this world is a place of supreme joy, with Krishna at the center.
Maharaj, I mustn't neglect to refer to the printing that took place at 62 South 13th Street in San Jose, where it was not just getting the materials together, but those very words that had saved us all when we were missing Srila Prabhupada too much were now being put into printed form in San Jose. And Srila, that of course is by the brilliant devotion of Bhakti Sudhir Goswami Maharaj, and Srila Gurudev said about that city, because of that it was the labor room of his mother, which Srila Srava explained to me meant that he would happily take his birth there. So happy he was that the first books in English of Srila Guru Maharaj were printed there. So we can't even fathom how important it is. Like you say, these words are everything. They were then, they were before Guru Maharaj knew they would ever be in print, and they are now in many languages.
And we are indebted and grateful to everybody who's made all of this possible. And that includes so many like unknowns. But as you say, Sripad Goswami Maharaj was the head, the leader, the coordinator, everything. But there was a whole team of volunteers who gave their time and energy. Jagadananda Prabhu, Kaliyuga Pavana Prabhu, Mahayogi Maharaj at that time, Mahayogi Prabhu, and so many. Then they gave their blood, sweat, tears, energy, money, everything.
Yes.
And then we can also understand that there is every devotee in the past has somehow put some bricks into the building of the worldwide Krishna consciousness mission. And that's not bricks as bricks made of baked mud, but bricks of the structure of Krishna consciousness. So what is Krishna consciousness? When we walk into an ashram today, then we're walking into an ashram. It's got the deities, it's got maybe picture, it's got so many things. But so many devotees have helped to make any ashram in the world. And in a subtle way, if you like, so many devotees have helped to bring the message of Sriman Mahaprabhu around the world. And that message has gone to the hearts to fulfill one of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada's aims, which was to make a temple in everyone's heart. And this Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur stressed with the books, and we've got Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's books, Srila Narottam Das Thakur's books. You were mentioning about Srila Prabhupada, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, when he's writing the books and doing translations and commentaries. He's not sure how long he will live, so he gave some essential books, teachings first. And let us not forget Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj. He was 90 plus years old, and he didn't know how much he would give, and he would give, and the main points, and then saying, if I live long enough, I will elaborate on these more in the future, but I cannot sit properly. I've got these diseases, can't see properly, can't hold the pen properly even. He's saying these things. And, by the grace of the Lord, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj, he did give those more extended elaboration of the points that he indicated earlier. And similarly, by the grace of the Lord, Srila Prabhupada, he gave so much beyond the introduction. He elaborated on so many things in due course of time that Krishna gave extra life. And for Srila Gurudev, he knows astrology very well. I mean, real astrology, not, the home astrology for dummies book astrology. And he knew his lifespan. And Guru Maharaj gave him his 10 extra years this way. And what did Guru Maharaj do in those extra years? Or what did Gurudev do in those extra years, rather? You see, he gave so much, and so many books came out of Srila Gurudev. And Srila Gurudev very pleased with the books, with the magazines, with the publications of Guru Maharaj, and that will continue, that message will continue being distributed through the books.
Mm-hmm. Maharaj,
yes.
There's someone present here, I see his thumbnail picture, who told me a very wonderful story, how he came to Krishna consciousness by his uncle, who would come and visit from the time he was a very small boy, would come and visit his mother, who was his uncle's sister, and just bring him nice prasadam, but also would leave these books and magazines around, which he later found as he grew up. So I hope that he will speak up and tell us this very wonderful story.
Are you giving us a quiz that we have to answer? Who is it? I'm trying to think who it is too.
Well, he's still not live. He's still a picture. His initials are KC.
Krishna Chaitanya.
Yes. I can't tell the story as well as he told me, but it's very sweet.
Okay.
How you could just see the little boy becoming very affectionate toward this unusual uncle who was so kind to him, and how he kept finding more and more treasures as he grew up, because his mother would leave them and he would find them in shelves and things. And then he was able to start reading and started reading some of them. And that's why he's here today.
Very fortunate. And maybe hear from Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu. And by the way, we've been mentioning him just 15 minutes before the beginning of the Zoom. We're talking with Jagannath Prabhu and Balaram Prabhu in Biot. And Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu, he's moved nearby. And so he's just 10 minutes drive away. So we're very happy that Krishna's got some very happy, very positive and progressive plans, no doubt, that bringing sincere devotees together in the south of France.
Okay.
Prabhu, are you available to share something, Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu? It's maybe.
Dhanyavad, dear Maharaj. Dhanyavad, dear King Davidasi. I'm very sorry. I'm definitely another person of a recent generation. Yes, not that one you mentioned. Yes, Maharaj. Me and my wife, we moved to the south of France just recently, and we will be very glad if we are used by divine will in preaching in France. Hare Krishna.
Okay. All right. Now I'm corrected.
But the same name, and many thanks for sharing, and let us see you also, Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu, and to Annapurna also our support, our encouragement for wonderful things to take place there in France. And they are printing books in French so that the devotees, people, the public will get some introduction as well. So again, this emphasis on printing books, the Brihat Mridanga, the resound, what was the title? The resounding sound of the Brihat Mridanga. Jai. So Kumkumdi, now reveal the identity. Which Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu, sorry, there will be more than one, but Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu that you know, a disciple of Srila Prabhupada. Is it from USA? I'm not 100% sure.
I believe he's a disciple of Srila Guru Maharaj, and I met him in Navadvip, but he's from England and wore saffron for a short while.
Oh, Krishna Chandra, maybe.
Okay, remembering his name wrong too. Still a wonderful name. And he looks very similar
maybe
to this Krishna Chaitanya. Can you see that, Krishna Chandra, in this?
Yes. Yes, I could see that.
Okay.
I think this is Krishna Chandru, and he's also a very gentle and sweet devotee. Yes, many similarities.
Okay.
Hare Krishna. And Vila Govinda.
Yeah.
In Vila Govinda, we have Chinmoy Devu. I've just made the pin so I could see a little bit larger. And Madhurananda and Savitri and someone behind the camera, maybe 2 or 3. But we know that Shanti Moy is also in the south of France. Yeah, Shanti Moy is in the south of France too. She's there and helping these, giving assistance for the programs along with Abhinava Sundar and Kelly Kadamba. So, there's lots taking place there in France. By chance, we went there just now. And so let us hear something. Brihat Mridanga, and the official title for today was Resounding in the Heart. Oh yes, and this does come from a talk by Srila Guru Maharaj that we can read that it's reasonably short, that transcript shortly if you wish. But first, let us come. Chinmoy Dev Prabhu, kindly share.
Dandavat pranams, Maharaj, to everyone. Very happy to hear about this subject, and I have to give a resounding yes to Srila Madhusudan Maharaj's suggestion about the introduction to the search for Sri Krishna. Where are we? Vila Govinda. We usually have everything programmed, what we're going to read, when we're going to read it. Sometimes there's a gap, and we're not sure what we need to fill the gap in with some book. If I am there, the first suggestion I give is the introduction to Search for Sri Krishna, Reality the Beautiful. That is the first thing I read about Krishna consciousness that converted me. Just those 3 pages. That was it. I was done. And it's so beautifully explained by Srila Sridhar Maharaj. What is the purpose of Krishna consciousness? It's love, it's joy, it's affection, it's ecstasy. We're not in the search for dry knowledge. We're not in the search of renunciation. We're not in the search for just spirit. What our soul demands is an ananda. That ananda has a super subjective experience, existence above that of consciousness, above eternity. Anyways, very wonderful introduction. And I guess we could say, as we often say, if all books disappeared and there was only this introduction, then we'd have everything. But yes, I guess I'm sorry I did no homework. I didn't even read the article. So I'm not sure. I know we're talking about books, the Brihad Mridanga, that Srila Saraswati Thakur described it as. And yes, everything that we know about Krishna consciousness, we can find in the books of Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Govinda Maharaj, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj. And so we're very, very fortunate to have all these books. It's like a true blessing. Even Srila Govinda Maharaj, when he received the Search for Sri Krishna, and was it Sri Guru and His Grace? I can't remember, it was 2 books. He considered them deities. 3, and Loving Search. Okay, and Loving Search. He considered them as deities, worshipable as deities. Huh?
Yes, just because we're online, I'll just mention it was Search for Sri Krishna, Sri Guru and His Grace, and the Golden Volcano.
Oh, Golden Volcano. Okay, yeah. Thank you.
Consider them 3 deities. Yes, Prabhu. Yes.
Yeah. And so this is not just ordinary knowledge, but like knowledge descending, transcendental knowledge. And that knowledge coming from above, of course, has to find a place within someone's heart. And for that to occur, the heart needs to be able to receive. It needs to be clean enough to receive some of that transcendental knowledge. Gurudev described it as like, we don't want to throw our seeds onto barren soil, onto stone. We throw our seeds onto stone, nothing will grow there. And so one person can read the introduction for Search for Sri Krishna and not get anything from it. And another person can read the introduction for Search for Sri Krishna and be totally captivated. And so for whatever mystery, for whatever grace of the Lord, that transcendental knowledge has entered our hearts and has created this type of movement within us, this type of search for Krishna Nusandana. So those are very few words I could say. I see in France, we are talking about France, and we have many wonderful devotees there. And now France is becoming the preaching center of the world. And so maybe we can hear a little bit from the French devotees and how things are going there, the programs. I would be very happy to hear from them.
That means you, Jagannath Prabhu, I do believe. And Balaram, your support right there beside you. Hare Krishna.
Kelly, Abhinava.
But Kelly and Abhinava, I think they're out walking. They were out walking a few minutes ago. Maybe they came back.
They are near, yeah. But the screen is too small.
Oh, okay.
And that's everybody. Actually, well, obviously we know we're not the preaching center of the world. We're actually very late compared to everyone. We're trying to catch up more or less. And actually, yeah, it's the inspiration of, other devotees in Brazil, in Ukraine, in Russia, in Italy, in England, all over the world. where, when we see so many, and other countries, when we see so much dedication, and obviously because we are so touched by the teachings of our masters, so we, at our own level, we do what we can to share the little that we understand. And I find for myself, at least, it's very inspiring to preach or to reach people, because it helps us grow also, helps us understand a little bit more what we are doing. And that actually it's, we cannot pretend. The only thing that we can share actually is what we have in our heart, what really touched us deeply. We cannot make things up, or, as not make things up, but like as Chinmoy Prabhu mentioned, we're not trying to, it's not dry knowledge that we're trying to share. We're trying to share something that is living, that is it's been transmitted to us, and what we understood to some extent, we share it to others, and then it's up to the Lord. So that's all, I think, what we're doing here, really.
Hare Krishna.
Oh, and updates. Yes, updates. Yes, there is. So Balaram just found a flat nearby, near our little humble preaching center home. He's moving in September. Also, Krishna Chaitanya, you mentioned just recently, they just moved here. And we are very lucky, also very fortunate that the devotees are very happy to come and visit us. As you mentioned, Abhinaba is here, Kelly is here, Shantimoy is here. Maharaj, Madhusudan Maharaj is coming in September. So the association has just been created. The Mission of Joy, Mission de Joie en français. What else is new?
All happening in that 3 days.
All very quickly, actually. Like there's really some kind of wave of grace that's going to Biot, the little town where we are now.
People are really missing, like those Indian group.
Yeah, in Indians, we've got connected to an Indian community. There's a big group of them living in the region. Last night we had a program. There was maybe how many? 12, 15 of them, something like that. They came, we had some kirtan and harikatha in the park, and they were very interested, like they were listening and asking questions, and they were very happy. So there's also a very good response from the environment. Like people are genuinely happy to come and hear and ask questions, and it's like bubbling. It's like it's lively,
And they're returning, like they come to one program and they either come again or they're sending friends to come.
Do you want to speak?
Yeah, you can say.
And suggesting other people.
Yes. Yes, they're telling the words, to their friends. So, yes, many things going on here.
And when Subhasini heard that I was talking with you just before, Jagannath Prabhu and Balaram Prabhu, then I said, maybe you should go to France. And she said, yes, certainly I can go. So I think she's also thinking maybe in September, I do not know, but you can consider she's a very capable lady to present also Krishna consciousness from the South Indian, well, from the Krishna conscious point of view, but very relatable for the Indian community. So she's pricked up her ears and she's thinking, yes, that sounds wonderful. Hare Krishna. Mukunda Prabhu asked me, he said, what was your first book? And about distributing it. Well, guess what my first book was? Probably the same as many people, Back to Godhead. 2 weeks, knowing very minimum, after 2 weeks joining the temple, knowing a very minimum, and out on the street distributing Back to Godhead magazines and getting challenged quite aggressively by some persons who didn't want to hear anything unless it was about Jesus, then this was my first experience. What was your question? Wasn't it? And what was my first experience? Yes, kindly tell us your book distribution experiences. And which were the first books that you distributed? Well, it was Back to Godhead magazine. That was the basis. And then the bigger books also tried, but I'm not sure if all the records of ISKCON are kept forever. But if they are, you can search their records. I was probably the world's worst book distributor in ISKCON. So I was then the driver of the book distributors, and I went out to distribute books, but I wasn't really the one who covered the petrol cost or anything else. But we did go out there and do book distribution with the bigger books. And the devotees are all very kind. They try to teach you how to get more money out of the people. But I wasn't successful, because if they didn't want the book, well, there we are. Anyhow, that was my first introduction. But then this is within ISKCON. But then coming to Guru Maharaj, then we were with Guru Maharaj. And with Guru Maharaj, we were in India. It's been through so many things, from Gaurapanim 1982 to Gaurapanim 1983, or after Gaurapanim 1983. And then Guru Maharaj sent me to Malaysia with Dayara Gauranga Prabhu. So there were two of us doing book distribution there. And we had no books of the mat, because there were no books of the mat. We didn't have any book in English. And so we distributed some books from the Gaudiya mat, which was Thus Spake Sri Chaitanya Dev, something like that, or Thus Spake Chaitanya Dev. And then when those first books came, the Search for Sri Krishna, then we got to be able to distribute Search for Sri Krishna, Reality the Beautiful. And so that was the first book of the mat that we distributed, and then one by one, they came. But Malaysia, it is a gentle country, and the people were very polite. So if they don't want a book, they were very polite. And so it wasn't so difficult to be unsuccessful as a book distributor. And anyway, we did book distribution, and with dhoti, kota, chadar, shaved head, not going and saying it's about anything else other than about your best fortune. So the books did reach out to people who wanted to receive them, and we distributed many books over the time that I was there. And Dayada Grandpa, he arranged also the printing of a magazine called Sadhu Sangha. And of course, it's easier to distribute Sadhu Sangha magazine. And from that, we got introduced, we got invited for many public programs in temples, people's homes, all sorts of places, many, week by week by week. And from that time, most of the devotees of Malaysia, they're from that time, in fact, or their children or grandchildren, and people they know. And so quite a lot of sincere souls came to Guru Maharaj, came to Gurudev, and it's the books, going out distributing books. Hare Krishna, and really some wonderful devotees, really wonderful. And maybe, we can say every devotee was a wonderful devotee, but such good-hearted devotees. Guru Maharaj appreciated them, Srila Gurudev appreciated them, gave so much blessing. So this was all with the basis of distributing books, being visible to the public also, and openly giving Krishna consciousness as best we could. So you're asking me my experience. The first experience you asked me, well, I should have stopped there. Tough. Hare Krishna. But I can say that the mood was those who were not distributing books, who were maintaining the temple, doing the mechanics of the vehicles, whatever it may be, they were all seen to be in support of the book distribution. So it was, and this is from Srila Prabhupada's teaching, presentation, everything they're trying to follow that. And the emphasis was on the book distribution, and all of us who got kicked off the book distribution team in those days, no, we got promoted to other services. Anyway, we can say kicked off the book distribution team and put somewhere where we were more useful in service. And then we were all the backup team for the book distributors, we got to say. Hare Krishna. After all, you need someone to unload the books off the truck, don't you? Hare Krishna. And they were Bhagavad Gita as it is. Govinda, Govinda. If you like, I can read the article from which the title today comes, Resounding in the Heart. And an article means it's transcript of Srila Guru Maharaj. And Srila Guru Maharaj, so Srila Guru Maharaj Ki Jai, it's short, it's not long. So this is Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Sri Rama Singh. Our Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, liked book preaching. He liked book preaching. He called it the Brihat Mridanga. When a mridanga resounds, it invites the people around it. Come to hear the chanting of the divine name. Similarly, books go from man to man, house to house, informing people that these things are occurring. Come and join. So the sound made by books, the sound made by books, however, works more efficiently than the sound made by the mridanga. So our Guru Maharaj called them the Brihat Mridanga. The inundation upon people made by books is more intense and more perfect than that made by the mridanga. So this is really classic Guru Maharaj, always looking for the quality. So the inundation upon people made by books is more intense and more perfect than that made by the mridanga. And then Srila Guru Maharaj says, a gentleman who read the Gaudiya, which is the magazine from, one of the magazines from the Sri Chaitanya Mat of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. A gentleman who read the Gaudiya magazine wrote an article in praise of our Guru Maharaj. And then it's got some Bengali. Jiva Moha Nidragata Jagate Vaikunta Duta Gaudiya Patayo Ghare Ghare Uttare Uttare Bhai Arata Samaya Nai Krishna Bhaja Bole Uchaishvare. And this, then translation of this. Generally, souls, so this is Guru Maharaj's translation, because you can see there's only 4 lines here, and here Srila Guru Maharaj is giving, as always, his living translation. Generally, souls are sleeping under the influence of ignorance, and to rouse them, you send your weekly paper, the Gaudiya, from door to door. It is the messenger of Vaikuntha, the infinite world, and it pushes open doors to be heard. It loudly calls the people, Uttare, Uttare Bhai, Arata Samayanaya, Krishna Bhaja Bole, Uchaishvare. There is no time. Awake, arise, come to the absolute. Why are you sleeping in ignorance? Such a great prospect waits for you. Come and serve Krishna. That is the Gauria's news. So that is the message that that person wrote in praise of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur on the Gaudiya magazine. And there's just a paragraph after this. Guru Maharaj continues to explain some foundation to this. Prabhupada means Bhagavan Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Prabhupada founded this weekly newspaper, the Gauriya, and even a daily newspaper, the Nadia Prakash. Madan Mohan Malaviya, the majority leader of India at that time, remarked, "What is this? A daily religious newspaper?" Prabhupada answered him, "In this mundane world, there are so many daily papers. We are told that in America, there are not only morning and evening papers, but newspapers published every hour. So this is still his reply. In Vaikuntha, there is 1,000 times more news than there is in the mundane world. So why is printing one daily paper about Vaikuntha a wonder? Thousands of daily papers about Vaikuntha may be continued. That much news comes from Vaikuntha. The news of Vaikuntha can overflood this mundane world. Vaikuntha is infinite, and this world is finite. When a ray from the infinite world comes to the finite world, what can it do?" Then 2 lines. Later, Madana Mohan Malaviya, the man who Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was replying to. So later, Madan Mohan Malaviya said to Prabhupada, "Every village should have a center for your activities," you see. And then our Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, answered, "What do you say? I want to establish a temple of the Lord in every man's heart." Jai. Hare Krishna. All right. I won't read you more. I have another few excerpts actually from both Guru Maharaj and Srila Gurudev, but all of it is the emphasis on the importance of the books, the scripture, and of our taking into account what is in those books and putting it into practice. And we were listening to Guru Maharaj, as everyone can listen to Guru Maharaj and Gurudev every day, through the kind of extra brihat mridanga of the recordings of our masters, transmitting, sharing, expressing with intonation and everything. And Guru Maharaj was saying that those who have come to know that there is the knowledge of the Veda, the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, the knowledge of the goal of life and how to achieve it, those who have come to know that this does exist and it is there is such guidance, but who don't put it into practice, who leave it aside for this mundane world, then Guru Maharaj described those persons and giving some quotes from the texts. And he said that such persons are the poorest of the poor. They've come to beauty, sweetness, love, eternity, joy. They've come to that door, but not got the energy or the internal energy just to use that energy to come through the door, take the journey, utilize the guidance that's been given with much energy by those great souls who've gone before and left a record for us. What to do, how to go, it's very simple. Chant Hare Krishna, keep good association, put into practice what Mahaprabhu has advised, and one of the quotes here, you can guess who it is by when we say it is stressing. Actually, the main thing we need from all of the books is to know Trinada pi sunichena taroriva sahishnuna amanina manadina kirtanya sada harihi. Yes, you're all correct. It's from Srila Gurudev. That we need to read, but we need to read and take the message. And the message of all the scripture is this. We should do this. And Kirtanya Sada Harihi, continually chant the name of the Lord. Hare Krishna. And I think Munindra Mohan Prabhu is the Pujari in Vila Govinda because Chinmoy Dev Prabhu is the Pujari. Or you've got the tilak, or you have tilak on at other times. Hare Krishna. All right. Oh, Sachi Devi, we didn't give you a chance to speak this time, but I'm sure you've got something to share. You can keep it for us for next time, and we can always come to this theme, no matter what other theme may be given as a title. So anyway, each of you probably have something. Seva Rupa Devidas is probably holding back from giving us a whole list of quotes from the scripture on this subject matter. And Tungarasa Devidasi, beautiful devotee, giving Dandava to the beautiful devotees. Oh, Dharam Prabhu. Oh, he sent me a nudge that Sachi Devi has prepared some reading material. Sachi Devi, can you kindly keep it and I'll make a note? No, keep it safe and sound. We'll hear it next time because devotees have things to do and we've also got things to do out of the screen. But we're here with you all, and super to be with you all from Brazil, from France, from Norway, from Latvia, from Ukraine, from Brazil, and more from Brazil, and from Italy, of course, and from Italy, from so many places around the world. And did I mention Latvia? And we're going to click and go, and from Sweden, and from Germany, and looking for other countries. Not sure. Oh, London. I must have said London. I hope it's mentioned. Well, London's not a country. United Kingdom. There you go. All right. South Africa.
Maharaj, you just also want to say we're very happy to have Savitri back. She came back from her travels in Italy, and we're very happy that she's come back and she has something to say.
Jai Srila Bhaktirata Madhusudan Maharaj ki Jai!
Oh dear. And big jais to our translators. I know I didn't give proper consideration and speak a little slower myself, but everybody else was well behaved. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. And the jais to our masters, Srila Gurudev, you know who they are. Srila Gurudev, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada, Bhagavan, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and the whole Rupa Nuga Guru Bhaga, and to Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur, and to the unlimited devotees everywhere, and to all of you beautiful devotees. It's not just my opinion. Look in the chat box. Devotees are giving obeisance to beautiful devotees here. So to all of you beautiful devotees, jais, and we'll meet again very soon. Oh, and I'm with Subhasini. You can see her here. Subhasini Devidasi. We're in Wexford. We've been doing so many programs in Ireland. Everything is going on and continuing to go on, and wonderful things. So here is Subhasini Devidasi, who's already on the list to go to France. Just see. Hare Krishna. All right. Dandavat, all devotees. We'll meet again soon. Hare Krishna. I'm bowing out. You can all stay together. I have no problem with that at all. Krishna, Krishna.